What's up, guys? I'm DK Wrestler, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking the worst to the best C2E2 2024 exclusives from Funko, in which I think it's self-explanatory. I'm going to be going through every single exclusive that was announced by Funko, besides, I believe, the t-shirt that was announced with the shared retailers list, and then also the Loungefly items won't be in this, but anything that was announced during the one specific day of C2E2 reveals will be in this. I'll be doing it one by one from the worst all the way until what I feel is the best as terms to how I truly feel about that certain pop, more personal reaction wise, rather than what we based off of with our cop over passive video that was released this past week. Which, in case you were wondering, since I am recording this video right after that cop over fast up video, that I am wearing a Kermit the Frog hat. So in case you were wondering, that's what I'm wearing. So the worst exclusive for C2E2 in my opinion is the Green Lantern from Justice League. I feel like in a lot of people's opinion, this is going to be the lackluster pop of this con, especially being a Target shared exclusive. I do see this being a pop that basically is going to sit on the shelf for a while, up until the point where there's going to be a huge clearance price slapped onto this pop, and I do feel we have gotten better Green Lantern pops in the past than what we have here. Next up is the Shanks Pop Wanted poster from One Piece. Now, I know this is going to have a lot of people hating me in the comment section below, but hear me out. Although it is really awesome to see these Pop Wanted posters because we've seen them the last couple of Comic-Cons, I feel that this is the most lackluster Wanted poster they have done, especially because that Shanks Pop is very similar to the few Shanks pops that they have done previously, while with the pops like the Goldie Roger and the Monkey D. Luffy that they have been fairly different compared to the 4-inch pops we have seen, but with the Shanks pop here, it doesn't look too much different compared to the one we have gotten that was, I believe, a Big Apple Collectibles exclusive. So this doesn't really excite me as much as the previous Wanted posters did. Next up is the Mirio Togata from My Hero Academia. Although Mirio Togata is a cool character and he hasn't had as many pops as, let's say, a Deku or an All Might per se, I do feel that I wish we would have gotten a newer character, or a character that hasn't really gotten a new variant before as a Comic-Con exclusive, rather than getting this version that just feels like, in my opinion, more of like a regular either common or Hot Topic exclusive. It just doesn't scream Comic-Con to me, although I still think it does look pretty cool, and that it is cool that we still get My Hero Academia Comic-Con exclusives. Next up is the Madara Uchiha from Naruto Shippuden, in which I feel like this pop, now as I think about it, can kind of go back and forth with the Mirio Togata, in the sense that Madara has actually had a ton of different versions of himself in Funko Pop form. I don't think this is too different compared to a lot of the ones. I don't really feel that this is like very special in my opinion. I do think obviously the detail is cool, but I don't know, it just doesn't scream like it's a pop that I would want even if I was a Naruto fan. Next up is the 10-inch Cresselia from Pokemon. Now, normally on these types of lists, if I see a 10-inch Pokemon pop, it would go straight to the bottom because no one really cares about the 10-inch variants of Pokemon pops, but I'm gonna give this pop credit because it is a new Pokemon that we have never gotten in pop form before. While let's say in the past we've gotten like 10-inch Eevees or Pikachus, or just pops that we have seen in the 4-inch form before, but in this case it's a character or a Pokemon that has never been transformed into pop form, but they decided instead of making a 4-inch pop, it is a 10-inch form. So in that case, I feel that if it was a 4-inch pop, it'd probably go way higher on this list than it is. Next up is the Yajirobe and Karen from Dragon Ball Z. Now, although we have gotten quite a bit of Dragon Ball Z pops, I don't think we've ever gotten a pop of this character before. I think I could be wrong, but I know that cat there has gotten its own regular size pop, which I feel like for me, I would rather want that cat rather than the human character, but I do feel that this is kind of refreshing instead of the abundance of, let's say, Gokus and Vegetas and Piccolos and Cells that we've gotten even at previous Comic-Cons, and that it is a nice return to see Dragon Ball Z since we haven't gotten Dragon Ball Z Comic-Con exclusives in quite a bit. Next up on my list would be the Jiminy Cricket Soda from Pinocchio. Now, although it is really cool to see not only a Jiminy Cricket Soda, but obviously seeing Funko Sodas still continue, especially being piece count, unlike a lot of the ones they've made lately where there is no piece count. But the one big gripe about this is that I feel feel like the chase is a bit lazy, just adding that, like, I don't remember if it's a star or some sort of badge, but I don't know, I feel like they could have done something way better, like maybe even having him in the pose where he has the umbrella up. I think that would have been an amazing chase compared to the chase they pulled off for this Jiminy Cricket soda, and I know for a fact that personally I'm not going to be getting this soda, so that's why it's kind of, I feel like at this point it's mid-tier on this list with the amount of pops and sodas that there are on this exclusive list. Next up would be the Po with dumplings from Kung Fu Panda. I'm really excited to see the return of Kung Fu Panda in Funko Pop form. We haven't gotten it since like the original wave so many years ago, and with the new movie releasing, I'm sure we're going to be getting this one plus more down the line, and I really enjoy this as a Comic-Con exclusive. I do like the dumpling aspect. I do like dumplings as it is, so I kind of have more of a personal reaction towards this because of dumplings per se, but yeah, you know what, this is pretty cool, and it is a 6-inch pop, so it definitely makes sense for a panda. Next up would be all 3 of the different Freddy Funko Pops in this particular order, starting off with the Pilot Freddy Funko, then the Officer Proto, and then finally the best one of the 3 being the Franny Funko. Of course, it's obvious why I'd rank Franny Funko at the top is because there's never been a Franny Funko Pop before, and it's been teased for months that we would be seeing Franny Funko at some point, and it's really cool that this is the time that we get her first pop is as a Comic-Con exclusive, and especially being a limited piece count of 3,000 pieces. And then I ranked Proto higher than Freddy Funko because I do like the character of Proto a little bit more than Freddy Funko, since we have seen a lot of Freddy Funkos within the last 10 plus years, and Proto has been getting some love the last couple of years in terms of Funko Pops, so I would like to see a lot more Proto Pops. Next up on my list would be the Egghead Jr. from Looney Tunes. I love me some Looney Tunes Pops, especially for Comic-Cons, because for the most part they kill it, and especially with a character like Egghead Jr., I do like the way that this looks, and I do agree with some people that this does look like Ride the Pop Guy. Next up on my list would be the Tony Stark for the Marvel lineup. This thing is really excellent, and I think this is indeed one of the best Marvel Comic-Con exclusive pops that we have gotten in quite a long time. I feel like the last Marvel pops that I would get excited for are like the Stan Lee versions of the Marvel Cinematic Universe pops. So I'm really excited about this one, transforming into the Iron Man suit from Tony Stark from one of the Iron Man movies. So I really like how this is executed into pop form, and I think this has a lot of people excited also, to where I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you would say that this is on the top of your list. The next pop on this list is the Woody and Buzz Lightyear 2-pack from Toy Story. Some of you may be surprised that I didn't put this at number 1 on this list, since Toy Story is my number 1 set to collect for Funko Pops. Now, although I will 100% be getting this, which is why it's super high on this list, I believe the number 3 spot on this list, but if this was, let's say, a newer character we have not gotten for the Toy Story lineup, I think that's where it would have shot right up to that number 1 spot. If we would have gotten, let's say, something obscure like a Rocky Gibraltar of all characters, or even like the shark with like Woody's cowboy hat, maybe even getting like Al in the chicken suit, or Sid, the main villain of Toy Story 1. If we would have gotten something like that, that definitely would have shot up to the number 1 spot on this list, but because it is just a newer version of Woody who we've gotten tons of pops of, and a newer version of Buzz that we've gotten quite a bit of pops for, that's why it's not right up there, but I'm still gonna get this, and this will go along with the Gamer Rex that came out that's a box lunch exclusive. Coming in at the number 2 spot is the Caesar Clown from One Piece. Although the first One Piece pop I talked about is near the bottom, I knew that the other one was going to be at the top of the list, because One Piece usually kills it as terms to the detail of the pops, which is why I put it super high on this list, but it's not number 1 because I've never actually seen One Piece yet, although when I see pops like this, it makes me more convinced to actually go watch the series. And what I consider the best C2E2 exclusive Funko Pop is Poochie from The Simpsons. The Simpsons is a huge licensor as terms to Funko Pops, and Funko usually kills it with the Simpsons pops for Comic-Cons because it's usually obscure characters. We have seen previously pops like, let's say, Comic Book Guide for New York Comic-Con in, I want to say, 2020, and we have seen like Stupid Sexy Flanders for Comic-Con, but seeing this really obscure pop, especially for more of a niche part of The Simpsons being the Itchy and Scratchy show, is really awesome to see as a Comic-Con exclusive. I'm surprised that this wasn't made as a limited piece count, but makes sense because because a lot of people would want this pop, especially if you are a massive Simpsons collector, like let's say Funko YouTuber Wasatch Pop, or my co-host MD Shady would really want to get this pop. And I do think this is a really awesome looking pop. And because of the fact that it is from a big licensor like The Simpsons and it's a newer character we've never gotten before, that's why it cracks the #1 spot and why I think it's the best exclusive for C2E2 2024. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's video of me ranking the worst to the best C2E2 exclusives, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think down below, whether you agree or disagree, or what you think is the best pop from this convention. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.